Hello, friends. I have some short readings here for us for this week. This is our read alouds, our mentor read alouds, and some of them are true facts, some of them are poems, and some of them are realistic fiction. If you remember what realistic fiction means, that means it could really happen, but it has not. Somebody made it up, but it's something that could happen in real life. So this should look familiar to you, this first one. If we look at the top, it says Topic 7, Past, Present, and Future. And this is a social studies link. That means they're going to be telling us facts. And if we look at this, you should be able to recognize this from one of our other stories talking about monuments. This one's going to talk about specifically the Washington Monument. All right, let's read it together. And remember that you need to come back and read it a few times. Here we go, ready? The Washington Monument, notice capital letter, that is the name of it, is a white, pointy tower that reaches high into the sky. It is located in our country's capital, Washington, D.C. All right, a few themes there in that paragraph. So I saw the word high with I-G-H, that's our objective this week. I into the I, there's our long I sound. And then I noticed that the word country has an apostrophe S. Remember, that means it owns something. So this is our country's capital. That means the capital of our entire country. And that capital's name is Washington, D.C. The tower was built to honor George Washington. It opened in 1889. It's as tall as a 50-story building and has 897 steps. But people don't have to climb to get to the top. It has an elevator, too. Thousands of people visit the monument each year. All right, so if we look at this monument, here are some people. Look at here's the people down here at the bottom, and look at the people. Here's an American flag, so you could imagine a flagpole. Now imagine that and compare that to the monument, to the height. Now I've been up the Washington Monument. I told you I went on a trip to Washington, D.C., and it is definitely a beautiful and marvelous thing. And it was built in 1889. That was quite a long time ago. So I think that our history is pretty important to us, so important that people want to mark it and they want other people to learn and know about it, so much so that we build these kinds of monuments. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, here's realistic fiction. This one is actually a made-up story of a family that has gone to go see the presidents and to see them at Mount Rushmore. Now, I have not been to Mount Rushmore, but my oldest son has, and I'm very jealous about that. But that is not in Washington, D.C. This is up in the mountains in South Dakota. Totally different place. So it's amazing that these monuments are not just in our nation's capital. There are other places too. So topic 7, past, present, and future, realistic fiction. An amazing sight. Oh, there's that IGH for the long I. Lee had always wanted to visit Mount Rushmore, and here he was. He stared at the 4 huge heads of the presidents. It was hard to believe that they were carved right into the mountain. "Dad," Lee said, "did you know that each head is as tall as a 6-story building? The noses are 20 feet long." Look at that exclamation mark. "Wow," Dad said Dad. "I wonder what would happen if they sneezed." Lee laughed. He thought he saw George Washington wink and smile too. Now, boy, isn't that silly? George Washington could not wink at him. He's stone. right, let's go to our next story. Make sure to read that more than once. All right, this one is also about our past, and it's an interesting link to our past with social studies in that it shows you how technology and how things build upon themselves. So the first flight into space, what was next after that? So what was the first one? What was the second one? What was the third one? Remember, technology helps us to do more and make things better each time. So this is a really good example of how our past and knowing how our past worked can help us work in the future. So this one is titled The U.S. in Space. The United States, the U.S. in Space. Social Studies. In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American to go into space. That's a powerful sentence right there. He was the first one to go into space ever from America. There was some other countries that were also trying to go into space, but he was the first American to go into space. That's amazing. His flight did not go all the way around Earth. So he went into space, but he did not go all the way around the Earth. A year later, in February 1962, John Glenn orbited Earth 3 times. That means he went around the Earth. Orbited, when you're out in space, that means to go around the Earth 3 times. So the first time he went to Earth or into space, Alan Shepard didn't go even around the Earth. A year later, John Glenn went around the Earth 3 times. Let's see what happens next. In July 1969, a team of U.S. astronauts landed on the moon. Wow. So in 1961, first astronaut in space from America. In 1962, we have an astronaut going around, John Glenn, 3 times around the Earth. And in 1969, we have a team of astronauts landing on the moon. See how they build on each other and how we get better each time? Today, there are rovers showing us pictures of Mars. Maybe one day astronauts will land on Mars. See, there's our link from the past. I'm talking about the future. Here's our rover right now taking pictures on Mars and sending us pictures. Mars is so far out there that it was never even thought of that we might be able to do that. But wow, think about that now. All right, let's go further into the past. This is a poem. So this is topic 7, past, present, and future, and here's some poetry. So this is just some poetry and some things for you to think about. Sometimes we think about in the past people didn't have fun, or they didn't know, how to have fun like we do. But this poem talks about, but children had fun anyway, by Constance Andrea Kareems. And look at the pictures here. I can see some young girls with drawings with some dolls. And this is a child here with like a paper hat. And it looks like a little wooden horse. And here we have a child here with paper, kind of playing around with paper and things. All right, so let's look at these questions, see if you can answer them when we're all done. We're going to be discussing the poem, but the children had fun anyway. So our first thing to think about is, where did children get toys long ago? Where did they get them? Where do children get toys today? What is the difference between those? What games did children play long ago? And what did they use to make toys? Oh, they made a lot of their toys, sounds like. What kind of toys did they make? All right, you can answer those questions when we're done. But children had fun anyway. 200 years ago or more, you could not buy toys in a store. Not one computer game to play. But children had fun anyway. Oh, I see some rhyming. Boys and girls would play pretend and hide and seek games with a friend. They often made their own toys too, from snacks and stones, a stick or two. A doll, a ball, a rolling hoop, a stick, horse, pail, and little scoop. Not one computer game to play, but children had fun anyway. Oh, in this poem, I hear some things that I used to play when I was a kid as well. I played with dolls. I played with a ball. They used to make their balls. A rolling hoop. They would actually have a rolling hoop and throw a stick through it. And then sometimes they just played hula hoops with them. They had hula hoops as well. A stick horse. Oh, those are fun. Pails. Think about pails and a little scoop to play in the sand or play in the water. They made all kinds of things. They made their own dolls. They played hopscotch. They had big pieces of rope that they jumped. They played jump rope. They played a lot of games that are still fun today. I wonder why that is. All right, let's see if you can answer these questions. Where did children get toys long ago? Could they go to a store? Where did they get them? Where did children get toys today? Where do you get your toys today? Do you get them in the same place? What games did children play long ago? Oh, we just talked about them. See if you can find them back in the story, in the poem. What did they use to make toys? What kinds of toys did they make? Oh, I've had a lot of fun with this one. When I taught fourth grade, we learned about pioneers and pioneer children, and we learned about all the different kinds of toys that they would make. They would use scrap pieces of fabric from their mom's sewing, and they would make fabric dolls. They would use fabric to roll up and to make a ball. They would use rope that their fathers would use, and they would get pieces of rope, and their family would make jump ropes and things like that. All kinds of things. They would whittle. Whittle means that they're going to cut with knives. They would cut wood and make shapes out of them and make all kinds of toys with wood. Wonder what kind of toys you could come up with on your own. What could you do without going to the store? It's really hard for us to go to the store right now. What kinds of toys could you make on your own? Have fun, friends. Maybe you should make some of your own toys.